In a quiet conference room away from the sirens, radios, and emergency calls, 4 of the Commonwealth's first responders sat down with NMI News Service to talk about a bill they say could change how government treats the people who respond when the rest of us dial 911.
Hi, so today we want to shine some light on House Bill 24-15. As you all know, that everyone has the right to organize labor, right? You can create your own team, as you will, or group to be able to bring up to your employer and talk about things such as wages and benefits, quality of life, safety at the workplace and all that good stuff. So today we want to talk about a current bill that was passed in the House, but it's now sitting still in the Senate. And we want to make sure that everybody understands what public law is coming out from the Senate, if passed, that will affect employee-employer relationships, especially our labor force here in the CNMI.
House Bill 24-15, authored by Representative B.J. Attow, would formally recognize organized labor for public sector employees in the CNMI and spell out how collective bargaining would work between government workers and their employers. In simple terms, it takes what federal law already says about the right to organize and puts it into CNMI statute with a local process for negotiating contracts.
People hate using the word unions. We like to say organized labor, right? So what basically the bill does is it just strengthens the federal law. So pretty much it says here in the state statute that you're protected. For example, us firefighters banded together and wanted to create our own union. The police is following suit now. However, we just wanted to have a bill that strengthens it, and as well as outline the collective bargaining procedure or process.
The bill passed the House of Representatives on May 15th and has been sitting in the Senate ever since. Lawmakers were tied up with the revised budget bill for months, but now senators have a scheduled public committee hearing on House Bill 24-15 for December 2nd on Capitol Hill.
We're hoping that the Senate passes it. It's a pretty straightforward bill. We have no ill intent towards it. It just ensures that employees have proper protection. As you know, everyone's always fear of either reprisals or what's the other terms we're looking? Retaliation. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. Fire was the first ones to come out with a union, and so far we haven't had that, which is great because our employers respect that process. And hopefully it's the same for Department of Public Safety now that they know that there's one being established right now. We're hoping that the Senate passes it out of committee and comes out to a vote, and then it gets passed, and then it heads over to the governor for signature. Formerly, Senator Carl Neighbors was the committee chair for that, but now that he's Senate president, he had to go down to Senator Donald Maglonia. Now it's on his lap. And that's what we're hoping to have, is to have people come out and voice their concerns, whether you're against unions, you're with unions. We're hoping to get as many people as humanly possible into that committee meeting on December 2nd at Capitol Hill to voice their concerns. In person, vocally, on the podium.
Morale, they say, is at a breaking point. Officers and firefighters are leaving the profession, and recruitment is becoming harder as new applicants look at the risks of the job and compare them to an entry-level wage of around $10 to $12 an hour in a field where no 2 days are the same and every shift can turn dangerous without warning. They say neighboring Guam pays significantly more, with police recruits there earning more than fully sworn officers here.
As of right now, you see, the officers feel like there is none right now. There's no support. Even though there's support that's believed to be given to the officer right now, the officers feel like they're not being supported by management. So hopefully this union would help address that. It's the retention of the officers. Officers are leaving. That's the issue, and every officer that left, their concern was the morale. That's the biggest point. With this profession that we choose as a first responder, we don't care about the pay. We do our job because why? We want to serve the public of the CNMI. It's what we do, it's a passion. We could care less about the compensation. But if the support is not there, then how are we to perform properly, professionally?
That's why they want more than verbal promises. A union backed by a collective bargaining agreement would lock basic protections and working conditions into a contract that doesn't disappear every time a new administration or a new department head takes office. Firefighters and police leaders say it's not just about raises, it's about guaranteed gear, proper PPE, safe staffing, and a formal channel to raise concerns before problems turn into tragedies.
So the biggest thing about this public law passing by, besides being protected to organize labor together, is also outlining the process of collective bargaining agreement. As you know, Brad, management changes with the winds, with the climate. Every time a new administration comes, we'll have management change at the top, and it follows suit. That's just how politics works. But the great thing about collective bargaining agreements is it's basically a nice wrap package of what we need to be able to do our jobs efficiently and safely wise. And the great thing about collective bargaining agreement, doesn't matter who's at management. It's a contractual agreement contract between the employees and the employer. So you can switch out the commissioner, the executive director as much as you want, switch out the governor, switch out the Senate president, but that agreement's locked for at least 5 years. So no matter who comes in and changes at the head, we have a contractual agreement that enforces that what we want or what we need will be met with all applicable laws. That's the reason why we want the collective bargaining agreement. People asked me before, could we do this without the collective bargaining agreement? No, because I don't trust anyone as far as I could throw them, right? You can say yes now, then a new leader comes in, or a new boss, new supervisor, new administration, and they're just gonna be like, well, we didn't promise that. So, no, we're not going to hold you to what we wanted. And it doesn't have to be about pay. It could be about simple stuff. We need gear. We need PPE. We need to ensure that we have everything, we can do our job safe and not bare minimum, like completely safe. Right now, we're fortunate for Commonwealth Ports Authority we're in that right now. We can't discuss details, but we're already in dialogue about talking about what our needs are, which is really great. Unfortunately for the defense side of the house, we have not had one single meeting with Commissioner Poole yet. And now we're going to see how this goes with the Department of Public Safety. But that's the reason why the collective bargaining agreement is so important. It locks in agreement both from employee and employer to make sure that we're held accountable to what we agree with, black and white.
For these first responders, it comes down to who gets to speak for the people doing the work. They say no one understands the realities of midnight calls, trauma, and split-second decisions better than the men and women wearing uniforms. And they'd rather see their needs defined by the people on the ground, not just by those in back offices or political posts that can change every few years.
What better person to represent firefighters than firefighters? What better person to represent the needs of law enforcement than law enforcement personnel? They live and breathe this stuff. I would rather hear it from someone from the ground level, this is what we're going through, we need the support, versus someone in a back office that comes down and will just be like, no, this is what your contract says, this is all we can give you, without actually living that. And yes, but even though we're police and fire, we're working hand in hand because we're first responders, right? We're reaching across the aisle to ensure that we take care of our own. That's the most important thing. We take care of our own.
Now they're asking the community they serve to serve them in return by showing up or speaking out when the Senate committee takes up the bill on December 2nd. They say they welcome support and opposition alike as long as people show up, take the podium, and put their views on record. To them, the worst outcome would be silence.
Everybody come out. Your mom, your dad, your grandpa, your children, your dog. Translate for your dog too. Get everybody out there. Call in if you can in there. If not, send a letter to the Senate JGO committee, because it's a committee meeting. But we want everybody to voice their concerns. As what a great man says, we're in a democratic society. So if you don't agree with me or with us, get out there, get on the podium, and voice your concerns on why this bill shouldn't be there. We want everybody to get their voices in. This is no backdoor bill that we're trying to like fast track and people figure out where did this union bill come from. We want everybody to come out and share their comments and concerns.
For the firefighters, police officers, and other first responders behind this bill, organized labor is not a political slogan. It's a tool they hope will keep the people who protect the Commonwealth safe, supported, and willing to stay in the job. For the NMI News Service, I'm Brad Rosala.